Okay. Have you ever been involved in a project, maybe a big one, where it feels like you're trying to steer a ship, but the whole landscape keeps changing around you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That feeling is pretty common, I think.
Yeah, you lay out this incredibly detailed plan, right? Everything's perfect, but then halfway through, maybe less, the market shifts, or there's some new technology, or suddenly users want something completely different.
And the plan just goes out the window.
Exactly. That perfect roadmap is suddenly, well, useless almost the moment it's printed. It's a huge frustration.
Hmm.
So, today on the deep dive, we're going to tackle that exact problem. We're digging into Agile.
Right.
And not just, as a buzzword you hear in meetings. We want to look at it as a philosophy, really, something that's genuinely changed how teams handle all that complexity and actually get things done when everything's uncertain.
Yeah, moving beyond the jargon.
That's the mission for this deep dive using the sources you shared.
Yeah.
We want to cut through all that noise. We're going to try and distill what Agile really is, its core ideas,
Hmm.
highlight the benefits, the real tangible ones, and show you how it actually looks in practice. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding why Agile has had such an impact.
Why it sticks around.
Right, why it's not just some passing trend, but a powerful way of thinking that helps teams, helps projects stay competitive, stay relevant, no matter what gets thrown at them. So let's get into it. How does it do that?
Well, what's really interesting about Agile is where it came from. It wasn't just thought up in a vacuum. It grew out of this very real need for a way to manage projects in environments that are just inherently uncertain.
Right? Complex and always changing.
Exactly. So it fundamentally flips the script. Instead of trying to predict every single thing way in advance,
Which is impossible.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Instead, it focuses on being able to respond effectively to whatever happens along the way. Adaptability is key.
Okay, so if we're not doing these massive multi-year plans, how does Agile actually turn that big picture vision into something you can act on? Like right now, what's the mechanism there?
So instead of aiming for this one huge final product way down the line, Agile basically says, okay, let's break that big goal down.
Into smaller chunks.
Exactly. Smaller, manageable pieces. And the core idea here is delivering value incrementally.
Value. Okay. What does that mean in practice? Not just ticking boxes.
Right. We mean working software or tangible improvements, things that actually help the user or meet a real business need, not just tasks completed on some giant list.
Gotcha.
And these pieces, these chunks of value, are delivered in short cycles, iterations. This lets teams adapt really quickly if requirements change or if they spot an issue early.
Ah, so you catch problems before they become huge.
Precisely. You eliminate those inefficiencies before they get really expensive to fix later on.
Yeah.
It becomes this continuous loop. You build a bit, you learn from it, you adapt the plan.
And it's all guided by certain principles.
Yeah, things like collaboration, transparency within the team and with stakeholders,
Right.
being really responsive to feedback and change. It's a mindset as much as a process.
Okay, the philosophy makes sense. But let's talk results. How does this actually translate into, real wins for the teams doing the work and maybe more importantly for the stakeholders or customers waiting for the result?
Oh, it makes a massive difference. One of the biggest, most immediate things teams notice is just faster delivery.
Right, because of the smaller chunks and short cycles.
Exactly. Features, fixes, improvements they can get to users much, much faster. And that's not just about being quick for the sake of it.
No, it's a competitive thing, right?
Absolutely. I
Well,
mean,
clear.
think about it. Your competitor might take 6 months to launch something new following a rigid plan. An agile team. They could potentially deliver an improved version, maybe based on real user feedback they just got, in just a few weeks.
Wow, okay.
That continuous feedback loop, that speed, it completely transforms how responsive you can be to the market. Your product becomes much more resilient.
And I imagine that speed helps the budget too. Our sources mention reduced costs. How does that actually play out? Is it just that the projects don't drag on forever?
Well, it's a bit more subtle than just shorter projects, though that helps. The main cost saving often comes from detecting issues early.
Ah, back to catching problems quickly.
Yeah. When you're constantly delivering small pieces and getting eyes on them, getting feedback, you spot misunderstandings or bugs almost right away.
Instead of finding a massive flaw right at the end.
Exactly. Which avoids that incredibly expensive rework you see in more traditional projects,
Mhm.
where finding a fundamental problem late can just blow up the budget and the timeline.
That makes total sense.
Mhm.
Okay, what about the people side? The sources talk about improved communication. How does Agile encourage that?
It really builds it into the structure. You
Yeah.
have these frequent check-ins baked in. Think about things like the daily stand-ups we can talk about later, or just the ongoing dialogue that has to happen between developers, stakeholders, maybe even customers directly.
So everyone's kind of forced to stay on the same page.
Pretty much, yeah. Sharing progress, highlighting blockers.
Yeah.
That transparency naturally leads to a more collaborative feel. It breaks down those old silos you sometimes get between, say, the business side and the tech side.
Right. And that constant communication, that alignment, I guess, that directly fuels the greater flexibility aspect. You're not locked into that outdated plan anymore.
Precisely. Priorities can change. They should change based on new feedback or shifts in the market, or maybe the business has a new strategic need. Agile doesn't just tolerate that, it kind of expects it.
It embraces the change?
It does. Teams can pivot without throwing the whole project into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And really importantly, all of this, the feedback, the iteration, the testing, it leads to higher quality outputs.
Yeah.
It's not just faster, it's this process of continuous refinement. You end up with something that's genuinely robust and valuable.
This sounds incredibly useful, especially thinking about product development. Can you paint a picture of how Agile really changes things in that specific area?
Oh yeah, product management is where Agile often feels like a perfect fit. Let's take building a new mobile app.
Okay.
In a traditional model, the team might spend, I don't know, a year just planning out every single feature, basically guessing what users will want a year from now.
Which is a huge gamble.
A huge gamble. Agile completely flips that.
Mhm.
The team might start with just one core piece of functionality, let's say just the basic messaging feature.
Get that out quickly.
Get that into users' hands fast, and then immediately start gathering feedback on that specific feature.
So you're not building in a vacuum. You build something small, see how real people use it, and then decide what's next based on that actual usage.
Exactly. You see how they use messaging, what they actually ask for next,
Yeah.
maybe what parts are confusing or
A
frustrating.
continuous reality check.
That's a great way to put it. Then, for the next cycle, the next iteration, they build those things, the features real users are asking for, or the fixes they need, not just what was on some theoretical list made months ago.
So the product kind of grows based on real needs, not assumptions.
Precisely. It evolves organically with its users. And this generally leads to smoother progress, way less friction between teams, and ultimately, products that aren't just functional but are actually relevant, maybe even things users really like using.
Okay, this is making sense. Now, you can't really talk about Agile for long without someone mentioning Scrum.
Sure.
What exactly is Scrum? How does it fit into this bigger Agile picture? Is it just another word for Agile, or is it something different?
That's a really good question. And yeah, it causes a lot of confusion. Scrum is probably the most popular framework for actually implementing Agile principles.
Okay, so Agile is the philosophy. Scrum is a way to do the philosophy.
You got it. Think of Agile as the overarching mindset, the what's and the why. Scrum provides a specific structured how. It's particularly designed for those fast-moving environments where you really need to adapt quickly.
And it works in cycles, right?
Yeah.
Sprints.
Exactly. It uses these short, time-boxed delivery cycles called sprints. They typically last somewhere between 1 and 4 weeks. And the goal of each sprint is to deliver a potentially shippable piece of the product. So you're building it up incrementally, sprint by sprint.
Like a series of mini projects, each adding something usable. And Scrum has specific roles too, doesn't it? It's not just chaos.
No, definitely not chaos. Scrum teams are deliberately small, cross-functional, meaning they have all the skills needed within the team, and they're meant to be self-organizing. There are 3 key roles.
Okay.
You have the Scrum Master. Their job is to facilitate the process, make sure the team is following Scrum practices, and crucially, remove any roadblocks or impediments the team faces.
Like a coach and problem solver.
Sort of, yeah. Then there's the Product Owner. This person represents the business or customer interests. They own and prioritize the product backlog.
The backlog. That's the big list of everything the product could potentially include.
Exactly. It's a dynamic, ordered list of features, requirements, enhancements, fixes, everything. And the product owner is constantly refining it based on value, feedback, market changes.
Got it. And the third role?
The developers. This is the group of people who actually do the work, designing, building, testing, delivering that usable product increment each sprint.
And communication is key here too.
Hugely important. It's baked in with things like the daily Scrum meeting, often called a daily stand-up. It's a short 15-minute meeting where everyone quickly shares what they did yesterday, what they plan to do today, and any obstacles they're hitting. It keeps everyone synchronized.
Okay, that clears up Scrum quite a bit. But just to be absolutely crystal clear on the relationship, Agile versus Scrum.
Right.
One's the philosophy, the other's the specific framework. Is one better, or is it just about picking the right approach?
It's definitely about understanding the relationship, not really about one being better. Agile is the umbrella, the set of values and principles we talked about, like valuing individuals and interactions, working software, customer collaboration, responding to change.
The core ideas.
The core ideas. Scrum is one very concrete, structured way to live those values and principles in a project.
So they both push for short cycles, collaboration, adapting to change.
Absolutely.
But Scrum gives you more specific rules on how to do it. The roles, the events like sprints and stand-ups, the artifacts like the backlog.
Exactly right. Scrum is more prescriptive. It gives you a clear set of rules and routines. That structure can be really helpful for teams, especially when they're starting out. But there are other ways to be agile too,
Like Kanban?
like Kanban or Extreme Programming XP and others. They all share those core agile values, but they structure the workflow differently.
Mm-hmm.
Kanban, for instance, focuses more on visualizing workflow and limiting work in progress, less on fixed iterations like Scrum. So it's about finding the framework that fits the team and the work.
That distinction is super helpful. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. How are modern agile teams taking this even further? I hear terms like CI/CD thrown around constantly. What's that about?
Ah, yes, CI/CD. Continuous integration and continuous deployment. These are technical practices, really, that modern agile teams often use to seriously boost their workflow and speed up how quickly they deliver value.
Okay, break that down. Continuous integration, CI.
So continuous integration, CI, means developers merge their code changes back into the main shared code base really frequently, like multiple times a day sometimes.
Instead of working in isolation for weeks.
Right. And every time they merge, automated tests run automatically to check that the new code integrates correctly and doesn't break anything.
Ah, so it catches integration problems instantly.
Exactly. It dramatically cuts down the risk of nasty surprises and bugs showing up later when everyone tries to put their pieces together.
Okay, that makes sense. So what's the CD part? Continuous deployment.
Continuous deployment, CD, takes that automation a step further. Once the code changes past all the automated tests in CI, CD can automatically push those changes straight into the production environment, making them live for users.
Without a human manually deploying it.
Potentially, yes. Or sometimes it's continuous delivery, where it's deployed automatically to a staging environment, ready for a final human go-ahead. But the key is automation taking it much further.
And the combined effect of CI/CD.
It's huge. Updates become small, frequent, and much more reliable. Because you're constantly integrating and testing and potentially deploying, the whole process gets smoother. Products stay up to date.
Bugs get fixed faster.
Almost immediately, potentially. User needs can be addressed much quicker. You're not waiting months for the next big release. Improvements might go live several times a day in some cases. It keeps the product incredibly current and responsive.
Wow. It really feels like Agile, especially with these modern practices, isn't just a process you follow. It sounds more like a fundamental change in thinking.
That really is the heart of it, I think.
Yeah.
More than any specific framework or practice, Agile is a mindset.
A way of approaching work.
Exactly. Its real power comes from that focus on delivering actual value early on, getting that feedback quickly, and then having the willingness and ability to adapt based on what you learn.
Which lets teams handle complexity without getting bogged down.
Right. You don't get paralyzed by trying to predict everything. You just start, learn, and adjust. And that's absolutely vital in the world we live in now, isn't it?
Definitely. Where customer expectations change on a dime and technology evolves so fast.
Yeah. Agile gives you both the structure you need to make progress, but also the flexibility you need to stay relevant and competitive. And honestly, it often helps keep teams more aligned and engaged too, because they see the impact of their work much faster.
It's about embracing that journey of discovery, maybe, not just racing to a fixed finish line.
Well put. It's about continuous improvement and learning.
So let's recap then. We've dug into Agile today, seeing it not just as rules, but as this flexible philosophy built for change. We've looked at the real benefits, things like getting to market faster, higher quality products, better teamwork.
At lower costs often too.
Right, lower costs. We explored concrete examples like Scrum, with its sprints, roles like the Scrum Master and Product Owner, and that crucial product backlog.
And the importance of those daily check-ins.
Absolutely. And we even touched on how modern tools like CI/CD are making Agile even more powerful, enabling that constant flow of improvements.
Putting it all together.
Exactly. So it really boils down to embracing change, learning quickly, and delivering value step by step, which leads us to our final thought for you, the listener. Considering how fast everything seems to change around us these days, technology, markets, maybe even our own goals, if Agile really thrives by embracing uncertainty and focusing on continuous learning, how might applying some of that Agile mindset transform areas of your life, maybe even beyond work projects? How could it help you adapt and evolve more effectively?
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.